Well, it's October 23rd. Well, what's left of it. Well, I had intended yesterday to post a video in my journal. Unfortunately, the software had other plans, so I'm taking another stab at it. Well, while I thought it was processing so I could upload it, I had checked my video log on PhotoBucket, and the last one I created was 22 months and a week ago, which works out to be December 17th, 08. I'm not putting 22 months of rambling on here. I'm not that insane. Although sanity can be fun. Well, I'm more thinking like the last 6 months. Well, husband came home from a 6.5 month deploy, and I just basically got fed up with my mother, and I told her that was it. Enough was enough. She had to look for a new place. She tried blaming my husband, but he didn't tell her to move. I was the one who told her to move. Well, anyway, she's been in her place since September. Apparently she's happy, which is very odd because my mother is not one to be content easily. Well, with everything going on, you know, I was tired of her not taking me serious, so enough. About 3 weeks ago, with the help of a neighbor next door, took the rest of her stuff, like her winter coats and her trinkets for her bookshelves. So now that she's there, the only thing she really has to do, and I keep pressing the point when she calls, is, did you change all your mailing addresses? And I don't know, she's trying to avoid answering or what, but she just quickly changed the subject. Because she no longer lives here, so I should collect her mail. I mean, she's had now almost 2 months, actually a little longer than that, because she moved into Dad's apartment soon after he had his stroke. And, well, she could have changed her address then, but, you can't tell Heinz Pickle anything. Well, since he's been home, we've had the renovation, which was supposed to be a 2-week job, ended up being 2 months. The renovator was extremely apologetic. It's like, yeah, okay, fine, here's the money order, here's your supplies. Oh, yeah, by the way, you're gonna help me move my fridge back. I mean, it was only fair considering I was the only one at home, and I was getting a little sick and tired of my fridge being in my dining room. So he had no problem with that, because when I had asked for the help, he was already cleaning up the spot for the fridge. So, I mean, that was a good thing. And that was one half of the award, from the radio station's contest. The other was the landscaping. I am less than impressed with that. The sod had only solidified and took root maybe about 2 weeks before they came out to cut it the first time, and the blades were too low. So now I have patches of dead grass. Right? And in this $10,000 fee that they, or amount that they quoted, a table and chairs for the deck, which are serving a purpose. I mean, not really wanting to go in the backyard in the middle of summer being eaten alive by mosquitoes. Right? I had enough of that while it would be burnt to death. Well, not to death, but slightly singed while barbecuing because I had no proper kitchen. They hadn't done the backyard like they said they were going to. And I brought that to the attention of one of the staff members at the radio station. Let's see, what else? They had this thing that looks like a metal gourd. It's supposed to be a fire pit, but I don't trust it as far as I could throw it, which in that case is not very far. They put 2 tiki lamps that are on bamboo posts right on the property line in between my side and the other side of the duplex on the same house. I don't have anything that would fall into having tiki lamps, but I have a Japanese maple. That in itself is like $750. A crap load of mulch. And I do mean, right? A stone, a piece of stone in the mound of mulch in the front yard between the Japanese maple that they brought and the sugar maple that the city planted before Will came home. It's about, I'd say it's about that far out from the top of the mulch. I don't know how far down, because I really wasn't watching. It's about that wide, right? And the top part of it is kind of slanted. I cut, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be where, you know, paint an address number, butterflies, you know, what, you know, something goofy. They didn't say. They just put this piece of rock standing up in front of this tree. The only saving graces they brought for lawn decoration, a ceramic elephant. I told them that if they were to put yard gnomes, I would be throwing them from my house to their store, which is in Dartmouth, which is across the harbor, because I get creeped out by garden gnomes. I'm sorry. It's just something about them that just creeps me out. But anyway, there's that. And, well, with all this, on top of it, I'm running back and forth to the hospital, you know, for Dad. As long as, like, during the renovation and the so-called lawn maintenance, supposed to be snow removal, but it's not snowing yet, so we'll just put that complaint on hold. I mean, with the renovation, it could have took place in June, like they wanted it, but I did not want them to disrupt the children's scheduling. I mean, the little guy, you know, Willie, has been diagnosed with ASD, and his thing is routine, and with like something 4 to 5 working in the house, you know, it's just, especially first thing in the morning, it's very disruptive. So, hence why July. Now, Dad had, where he had a stroke, he was doing good up until about early to mid-September. Well, he had a stroke in the middle of June. The end of June, they moved him from the hospital to the rehab. And, well, on September 14th, he really disoriented because the floor that he had been on, he knew like the back of his hand, but they moved him to another floor, which threw him off. He told the nurse at supper time that he wanted to go home. And, well, he waited until the nurses changed shifts at 7 to wail out. The hospital said they tried to get a hold of me, but my phone didn't ring. I happened to have been at a Girl Guide registration. My cell phone didn't ring. I would have jumped out of my seat because it set on vibrate because there was 150 people all making noise. This is above and beyond the guiders. So it would have vibrated across the table and scared the hell out of me. But they got a hold of me about 11:30, and they found me about an hour later. No worse for wear, just a little chilled. But since then, like, he had about 2 or 3 mini strokes, and his speech had really gone down. Yesterday, I went and saw him. The girls had made some blueberry muffins. Well, that was interesting. His doctor was making his rounds, and Dad really can't say a whole lot because, you know, speech is kind of like non-existent. He nods and whatnot, but he just can't say, no, I don't want to hear that, or what did Willie do, what did Caitlin, what did Sharon do, you know, or how's, you know, hubby liking being on shore posting, or something like he did when the last time the old man was on shore posting. Then this guy comes in, he says, hi, I'm Dr. Nick. And it's like, okay, this not happening. He's like, I'm Dr. Nick. And I thinking, okay, the guy's name is Nick. Alright, so everybody calls him Dr. Nick. And he's a big Simpsons fan, but that's beside the point. We got there and we're talking. He asked me questions in front of Dad if I had any concerns, but I waited until after, because by the time the doctor showed up, they were getting ready for dinner. And, well, as I said my farewell to Dad, told him that I'd bring the kids in later, I went over and spoke to the doctor. Told him, that there's no audible speech. I cannot hear anything, even with the gurgling. And the doctor's like, he thought I was, talking through my shoes or something. And I said, well, I seem to have a pretty good ear. And he said, well, what do you mean? And of course, there's this other doctor that kind of looked at me kind of strange. I said, well, my youngest son has, my youngest child has ASD. His problem with his autism is communication, right, talking, and the speech. And I said, which when the little guy gets up, either upset or excited, he rambles. That is more like babble, 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 babble. And I can pick out what he's saying, but yet I get him to say what I hear. And the other doctor says, well, I guess you have an attuned ear. I said, well, I have 2 of them, one on either side. And because of that, they're going to have more speech therapy for Dad. Now that we're waiting for a placement, I received a letter stating that he's been accepted for nursing care. I mean, there's no way that I could take Dad here because my house is not equipped for a wheelchair, and I'm not trained for continuing care. But we'll find out where he's going, and then we'll just take it from there. But no, feathers. Just basically keeping out of trouble. Yeah, I know, it's hard to believe. So, just figured, I have the technology, I should use it. Well, I hope I haven't bored you too much later.